So sacred spaces were a topic this session when we opened in the beginning of session, and speaker, you set up your Mauna Kea working group. That caused a little bit of a splash. Can you tell us what's going on with the working group now?
Yes, so the House approved a resolution to create a working group that will focus in on proposing a new governance and management structure for Mauna Kea. So as you know, in 1968, the University of Hawaii received the master lease for Mauna Kea, and that lease is going to be expiring in the year 2033. So we have, some time now to plan for a new management structure because, as I said previously in public, the current system is not really working.
Now, part of the working group resolution called for people to submit their names, and you really wanted to have a diversity, and I know you're in that process, but how many applications did you receive, and do you have a timeline on when you might think that the working group will be comprised?
Yes, our deadline for applications was this past Monday, and we received 86.
Wow.
86 nominations. There were some duplicates, so when you take out all the duplicates, there were 53 individuals who are nominated for 7 seats, and these are the 7 seats that are designated for Native Hawaiian individuals. And we'd asked Native Hawaiian organizations and Native Hawaiian communities to nominate people for those seats. So we're going through the process now of reviewing the nominations, and we'll hopefully have 7 people selected in a week.
So, I think some of us were concerned that there weren't going to be applicants coming out, but it's really wonderful to see the community engaged. Something that members of the public don't understand is that the legislature really does continue work after adjournment sine die. So I know you've directed our chairs they have about a 2-week break. I think just maybe 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. Well, you've directed some of them to look into some issues. So, do you want to share what some of the chairs and what you foresee the legislature working on during the interim?
Sure. So the House yesterday approved an investigative committee, which will focus in on 2 audits that were done by the State Auditor's Office. The first one was on the Agribusiness Development Corporation, ADC. The second one was on the Department of Land and Natural Resources Land Management Division. So in both of those audits, there were several recommendations that were made. So the purpose of the investigative committee will be to go in, look at the audit, and see what the progress is and what needs to be done to implement those recommendations and other recommendations that that the committee may come up with.
So this really speaks to kind of legislative oversight of agencies and how we need to follow up on audits. In addition to the audits, I know that we have members who are very, very interested in the ALICE group and continuing to work on those issues. Any thoughts?
Yeah, so when we ended our session yesterday, I did let the members know in my closing day speech that one of the areas that we need to work on over the summer so that we can prepare a package of proposals for next year is on the on economic and financial fairness for Hawaii residents. So that's going to be a topic that we will be spending a lot of time on over the summer.
And I know that we talked a little bit about the COVID committee and maybe it being now overseen by Hawaii Community Foundation, but do you also see any more work continuing on the pandemic during the interim?
Yeah, the House is the one that has taken the lead in working to get Hawaii out of the pandemic in a number of areas, including the public health infrastructure. So the House is going to continue its work to oversee and to propose ideas for how we get out of this, not just on the public health front, but also on the economic and financial front as well.
And Della, if I can add something to that. So one of the things that we did during the last interim, as soon as we broke session, is, like you and I and Representative Johansson and Representative Mark Nakashima and even Representative Ty Cullen, Ryan Yamane, Henry Aquino, and a bunch of legislators and speaker as well. We went down to the unemployment office to help process claims. Clearly, there's still work to be done. So one of the first things that we will be doing is actually picking up where we left off. I think when we came back in session, one of the things that we saw was that there wasn't a ramp up of effort to clear some of these unemployment cases. So we'll be working very closely with Department of Labor to see how the House of Representatives can help them through this very difficult time. We appropriated $105 million into the budget to help the unemployment office to hire a lot more people. They are in the process of hiring 50 people right now. So as a public service announcement, if you believe that you are qualified, we ask that you take a look to see if you can apply for these positions. We are hiring, the Department of Labor is hiring call center individuals and adjudicators at this moment. One of the things that we will be helping them with is the ticketing system, so that individuals can get an appointment as opposed to calling every day, several times a day.
That has been a frustrating part about the unemployment process. Speaker, we're going to give you the last minute. Do you want to share with the audience any final takeaways as we wrap up this legislative session?
Yes, so, I just want the public to know that the House of Representatives, all the members of the House worked really hard this past session. They knew that there were a lot of areas that we needed to work on, and I think they succeeded in a number of ways. And they also know that going forward over the summer, that there's still more work to be done, so they are totally focused on doing that. And I'm looking forward to the next session in January 2022 when we can unveil more proposals.
Well, thank you, Speaker Saiki. Thank you, Chair Luke, for joining me on Season 2 finale of Talk Story with House Majority. I'd like to give a very, very special thank you to Olelo Community Media, in particular Keikoa Graham, Production Manager, Jonathan Wong, Director, and Scott Nordquist, a site technician who has been here with me for all 8 episodes of Talk Story this session. I also really want to thank my staff, Samara Tena, Morgan Painter, Najwa Kandrani, for all that they've done to make this show possible. Even though we're entering into the interim season, please be sure to keep in touch with Hawaii House Democrats. You can do this by following us on Facebook and Instagram at High House Dems and on our website at hawaiihousedemocrats.org. I am looking forward to being able to return with legislative updates and talking story with more guests. But in the meantime, stay safe, wear a mask, stay healthy. Mahalo.